Okay, we're going to talk about this frame. Time for YouTube. And I'm going to talk to you guys that maybe want to start doing this and try to make some money doing it because it's a little hard. And I'll tell you why, what I went through here, okay? This is our third coat of Raptor liner, okay? There's a previous coat under it and along with some MRO products. And this is what I want to go, I want to go through this first before you start telling your customer you're Santa Claus and you're going to do it real cheap. Okay? So, I got to go back to my customer for some cash. I need more reducer, and the can of primer that I was using, the epoxy prime, the last can is gone. And I'll tell you why that happened. And mainly, I'll tell you, I only need one more can of the epoxy primer, thank God. It's this stuff, and it's like 20 bucks a can. This is, again, the Martin Sonor, and it's an extremely good, durable product. Let me demonstrate. Just over epoxy primer. That's Martin Sonor Red. Now, that's been out here since I prepped that frame, 2 months ago, and you could barely see. And this was just misted. That was just actually not even supposed to be there. It was just the pattern of the gun. So, anyway, I'm talking like I got to do on this hitch yet, because I also have to do this. I promised them to save this hitch, and that's why I'm telling you, because I sometimes you can't tell your customer exactly what something's going to cost, to be honest, okay? Unlike Christopher Wray, the head of the largest intelligence agency in the world, I don't know, I can't talk about it, you're that butt fucking stupid. You know what? In the Navy, you kill somebody in the United States Navy, or almost any branch of the military, you kill somebody, even if it was negligence, you didn't know you were that, you're trained, but you're that butt fucking ignorant, you go to jail, you go to prison. And I think that's going to be the caustic event where Trump gets in. These people knew they were orchestrators of this, because this vacuum that's going on in our government, when Biden vacates, China's going in, all hell's going to break loose. They do not want this next election. Kamala Harris has no fucking credentials to be a goddamn president yet. I mean, God. So, let me get back on topic with the frame, okay? This is what mixes down your PPG product, okay? And your Raptor liner. Remember I told you can use this, okay? So, I went through 3 of these because of the heat. You see, your mean temperature and the porosity, the rust on the frame. And all the truck frames are different. And so's the amount of rust when you get the truck in. Some of them only have light rust. And that's why I told this guy, yeah, well, we're going to have to work this, through this. And so far, I have to say that Mike has been really good with me. And I think he understands. Shit costs money in order to do it right. And I want the truck safe. Because I didn't ask the guy whether he has kids. I don't care whether his kids are going to be in the truck, his girlfriend, his wife. Okay, I don't care if it's his cat. Okay, I want him and whoever rides in that thing safe. So I do things to the best of my ability. Okay, but I can't control consumption of products, especially when the mean temperature. What mean temperature means is the actual temperature. For the last couple days has been 93 degrees during the day, and it really has not dropped below 70 degrees at night for the last almost month that I've been doing this. So when you're doing a 3-coat process and you're going through all that, you're going to go through material, because a lot of it's due to the amount of rust that's on the frame. But the more product that you can put on the frame, the better it's going to hold up. And you got to really just tell your customer that. I might end up pulling them front wheels and stuff and really going in there. He said he's got another problem around the frame, but we're not talking about that. I'm talking about consumption rate, okay? Raptor liner, the problem with Raptor liner, in this weather, I know how to work a paintbrush, because I got to mix it down, okay? This stuff, it's almost hard. What's left in here is almost hard in the can because of the heat. It's just because of opening it. And it's even air conditioned in my shop. That's why I have it air. Remember I told you? It's just that I'm opening this stuff out here, and it's just vacating the VOCs. What do I mean by VOCs? What is a VOC? Well, it's a volatile chemical. That's VOC. That's this stuff. See, and I'm handling it with a cigarette. Don't I have balls? All right. Anyway, you're not going to be able to control a consumption rate. You're just going to have to go to your customer and say, look, I need a few more bucks because I'm almost done with this job. The body work's pretty much academic. I have pretty much everything. We're going to add a little bit of metal underneath the cab, and I told him I don't know what they're going to charge me for that, and I don't know if he wants to replace those axle plates, the hold down plates on the axle. So never promise your customer you're frickin' Santa Claus, because you're going to make an ass out of yourself. Okay, if the frame's in decent shape, I knew that thing was not in decent shape. Okay, that frame just was sitting there in a little bit of rain and a little bit of pounding and heating up. Okay, because that's one of my processes of heating up, but it was disintegrating right there, sitting there. The frame, the more heat I was putting into the frame, that's one of your processes, is to take a propane, like a, you know, like a plumbing torch, and you go underneath the frame as you're descaling. Okay, I'm all thumbs, I'm all monkey tits today. This heat, like I said, it really has me. You're going to descale, and you're going to be thumping it with your air hammer a little bit. I have a thumper that I bought. I actually made one and it broke. Anyway, I thumped the frame a little bit because all that crap is going to absorb product, and you really don't want to keep rusty crap in there. You want it to fly off, so you want to heat the frame and make it fly off. But you can't control the consumption of chemicals in certain environments, especially high heat. Okay, so that's the purposeful moment of my video, is I got to charge this guy for extra reducer because I'm just plain out of it. I'm not going to be completing my task. Raptor liner, I'm not charging him for it. I have plenty of that. It's just that that epoxy, with like I said, when you're dealing with a high volatile chemical, okay, the Raptor liner, it cures a lot slower than the epoxy and even the MRO. Okay, it cures at a much slower rate. Sometimes it takes 24 hours to fully cure, especially in the fall. That right there, I just finished the last coat maybe around 3:30 this afternoon, and it's already just, I can touch it. I was just showing you. Okay, that's the VOCs getting sucked right out of the, you know, your dryer. This is your dryer reducer, because a lot of people, this means how fast your base coat, your urethane, whatever your urethanes are, how fast they're going to dry. It has medium. Thank God I didn't get a fast reducer, because it would have really hardened shit. That is just a can I had left over. The other cans I get rid of, I dispose of them. There's a center, an environmental center right down here in Tamaqua. So when I'm done with a can of that, okay, for mixing down, and it wasn't even sprayed, it was rolled and brushed. Well, I should say that was 95% brush. Okay, I only rolled the top part of it. It turned out like shit anyway. I didn't care. Your VOCs, your volatile chemicals, your reducers, they're just going to bleed off, and the stuff's going to dry immediately. That's why I have an extra paint can around, because I keep my old paint cans, and when they're down the bottom, I put reducer in. I get whatever product that's in there, and I'll put it in another, like a smaller can. So if I can save the cans, because down at Sherwin-Williams they're charging me $8-9 just for a can. I don't even get a lid with it. That's like another $1.50. So I save all my old cans in case that can that I'm working out of gets hard. Okay, or I have those 2-gallon buckets that I couldn't find. I bought a bunch of them, and I don't know where I stuck them, just like my grill liners. Those buckets are actually with the grill liners, because I went to the dollar store. That's where I got the stuff. All right, so just so you know, you can't give your customer a definitive, this is what it's going to cost. And this guy, like I said, he didn't get bled. He got a hell of a job, and when that thing's back together, we're going to put the fuel tank in it. I'm going to be able to get it cranked back up. The brake lines are done, and I just did not realize how much that reservoir for the brakes and that, it's massive. I put a whole quart and a little bit of the last quart I have in there, gone, and I still got to bleed them. So I got, like I said, I got to go back to the guy and say, look, I need more money. But the good news is, he's not going to be tearing brand new shit apart, and he's supposed to bring me the wool wax, because I want to put a good healthy dose of that wool wax behind where that fuel tank's going to be. And I'll probably, even still with the bed off, I'll probably, before he leaves, be able to shoot another coat of the wool wax inside behind the tank, because that means a lot to how that frame is. When that tank's up there, there's a lot of moisture that stays in there. The more moisture you can get rid of with wool wax and your epoxy and, you know, do a decent job. And I really have to look the job over. So I'm going to need more primer, and I just got to go back. So just never promise your customer you're frickin' Santa Claus, okay? Another tip, wherever your welds are, get a urethane seam sealer. This dries flexible. Why do I want it to dry flexible instead of hard? You don't have to buy the hardening because you're putting a urethane over the top of it. The urethane's going to harden it, okay? It might take a couple weeks. Like I said, Raptor liner dries really slow. But in today's weather, like I said, we had a mean temperature of around 89, 90 degrees. It's still, and we don't have quite the humidity today that we've had in the past 3 weeks that I've been using these products. But it is literally, it's turned what's left in this can solid. And I was using this the last 2 weeks, and it's just whatever's left in the bottom, I got to charge them for more because it's hard, and it's still not enough because, like I said, the porosity, the rust that's on the frame is going to dictate how much product you're going to go through. Now, do you want to go buy a gallon of this, open it up, and have it harden on you? And all you got to do is touch this with a little bit of reducer or hardener, and the whole can's going to get hard on you real quick, like that, overnight. This took 3 weeks. And why would it maybe do that? Well, when it's sitting next to the reducer, believe it or not, there's a vapor coming out of that can, and that's probably what was happening to this, okay? The reducer and the hardener, they have vapor. So I'm mixing on the same workbench, and then I'm putting the product inside. Doesn't matter that it's been separated. It's actually absorbing those fumes from you mixing. So you just don't promise your customer you're Santa Claus when you do this. But all right, so in the vacuum here, Washington D.C., I think I've told people, Department of Defense members like me, Biden's public enemy #1 to us. A lot of us quit 1500 when Obama got in office. When Obama got in office and they were trying to insert Hillary is when I resigned back there in 2016. And I haven't worked. And I went back to one job. I did one job down in Norfolk, and it was simply because it was my work and I was the only guy that understood it. And I haven't stepped back into the arena because I'm just not going to do it. I don't trust it. I don't even trust being around the military installation with what's going on, or wearing my goddamn uniform. I'm just not going to do it. And that's where you're at when you have weasels like Ray. You can't be that butt-fucking stupid Mayorkas, Christopher Wray, and blow smoke that you don't know, you can't talk about it. You got a national security crisis. And now it's even worse with Biden going. This is World War III. China's going to go right after Taiwan. Taiwan already said we're posturing, we got to defend ourselves. Okay? These people, they're out to kill us. These people are out to harm us. So get it through your heads, and you better give me that Swami hat, because I've been on YouTube, I think, since 2016 or 14. I've been doing YouTube a long time when I had the motorized bikes and stuff, and I've been predicting World War III by the posturing of these politicians and these morons that they're hiring. Trump had business his first term to clean house in there, and he's got even more reason after what just happened to him that I wouldn't want to be Ray when Trump steps back in that White House, because on a Navy ship, if you kill somebody, whether it's your own stupidity, it's called negligence. Just like if you kill somebody drinking and driving or in a car, you might not even be drinking, and you kill somebody, it's involuntary manslaughter. Well, how many fucking bodies does Christopher Wray and this White House have stacked up under him? People's families, young children, your daughters, what was her name? Laken Riley or whatever. How many bodies underneath this White House from these thugs and stooges, all just to keep their Chinese investment and keep people worried about the invasion of illegal aliens. It's the invasion that's going to happen overseas, and Putin's out of control. I think I told people I would have handled Putin. He's a cupcake. He would have been like smoked Soleimani. They would have been playing smoke on the water after a guy like me went after him. There's no reason for this to be going on. This White House is that corrupt. And putting this cackling hen bird in there that's brain dead stupid, dumbest mistake this country could ever make is to even trust this White House. Right now, we should be declaring that it's a national emergency right now. Okay? Biden's in no shape to lead this White House. All right? I just had an ambulance go through here at 100 miles an hour. This dollar store, I got clipped at my mailbox. White Acura clipped me about 3 weeks ago. I went to go get my mail, and the car clipped me out there. There was a car turning into the dollar store, and this Acura came around the corner, just like I almost bought it with the truck the other day. I pulled out, then there was oncoming traffic, and this stupid bastard in the Mercedes is doing 80 miles an hour up behind me, screeching the brakes. I'm either going to have one in my living room, or it's going to take out the front of the house, one or the other. But it's getting dangerous out front there with that dollar store. And we have, like I said, our police are stretched thin up here. It's not, like I said, this is not the world I had hoped for. But, okay, don't promise your customer you're Santa Claus, okay? And tell them the truth, and just, you know, I got to tell the guy, hey, I need a couple more bucks. I have pretty much have the body work figured out, but then he wants me to look at the frame there where the steering box is. He's having an issue. And I think he needs more than a few bushings there. I did buy some stuff, but what else I need, I don't know. All right, so me and Orange Cat are going to sign off, and I have been talking to some Navy ships, and our Navy is very, 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 very nervous. As I said, how many contractors and people like me resigned? Couldn't make any money anyway anymore. Like I said, I work on design flaws. I mainly work in an office type environment, or I go on site, and it's usually U.S. based, and I take a look at something, I give them my opinion, I submit them my opinion, and I used to get a check. But I resigned back there in 2016. I'm not stepping anywhere near a military installation. I don't feel safe, and I don't trust the administrations that I'm working under, especially Biden and old bumblenuts there, as I call them. Thank you for watching my videos, and I had some comments. You guys like tomatoes and stuff like that. Remember, like I said, if you'd asked me 30 years ago what a bush monster was, well, that was a Iowa farm girl down there on D-deck on the Navy ship, and she didn't have the best hygiene, and, well, you know, yeah, you could probably guess, but yeah, the bush monster tomato plant there is going to town, and my mom's hungry for, she likes the bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches, and I think she put some other stuff on it too, but that's one of my, I grew up with stuff like that because my mom fed it to me. Alright guys, thank you for watching my videos, and hopefully I sufficiently, I can't talk today, 2 coats of the epoxy prime, and you're going to go over that work with this and any welding you do. Then you're going to seam seal any of your welds. You're going to make sure that you're thoroughly bolted through. Don't be afraid, even after you're done with the job, to even drill another hole if you think that maybe you missed something. This stuff will save you, okay? What's not going to save you is doing a sloppy job and having the frame crack or break. This guy's not going to have to be afraid of any of that. And like I said, I really got to thank the guy. He's cooperated all along, and he understands it takes money to do this. The more money, as I tell people, I say it facetiously, but I'm serious. I mean, the more money you throw at something, the nicer it fucking turns out. But I couldn't control the consumption rate in this heat of those chemicals, because like I said, it was just more. So, and Raptor liner was the same way. I mixed it really loose because I had to, because if not, it was going to harden in a can. That's, like I said, why I got all kinds of empty cans sitting around here, because a lot of people are like, you guys are kind of a slop or what. No, I'm not a slop. I'm a realist, that when I mix something up, sometimes it hardens before I'm done with the job. I got to stop. Maybe I got to get the grinder and the welder out. I got to put the shit aside. When you have a hardener in it, okay, the chemical hardener, and you have the reducer, you're not going to stop the chemical reaction just because you have to stop. You're just going to need more material. And I didn't actually even have too much of that. It was just the porosity of the rust on the truck. So be a realist when you do this project, that you're, if you got $300 saved and you got $150 in Raptor liner, and you got maybe a can of the epoxy prime, you're going to go through more than that, and you need reducer and stuff. Okay, I've spent probably over $1,000 of his money just in chemicals, and the epoxy, meaning the epoxy too, but the reducer, the hardener and stuff like that. The hardener's like $69 a can now. Here in the Northeast, things aren't cheap. All right, thank you for watching my videos, folks, and any questions on doing one of these frames and my process, hopefully I've sufficiently explained it. If not, get a hold of me and leave me a message on there, and I'll explain. I'll type it out what you need. And you're not going to control, like I said, the consumption even of this. It's going to go on the frame, and you're going to see spots right after you coated it. You think you coated it, And you're going to say, why is the frame coming back through? It's because the metal is absorbing it, and that's with the epoxy primer. The epoxy primer is a primer sealer. So it's sealing the metal, and it'll also seal over bodywork, that it doesn't take as much paint, as much of the finished product. But sometimes that's not always a given. The more primer you use, the more of the top coat product, but that's what you want. You want that top coat product to suck into it, okay? You want that top coat product, you don't want it coming off. That's what you want. It's that chemical reaction that it locks down and it bites into that primer. Okay? Thanks, guys.